Today we're going to make this awesome custom callout in Fusion. It's a very easy but effective design. I'm going to show you how to build it, how to track it, and how to animate it to create a really polished professional look. So I've got a little bit of footage here on the timeline that I've already graded. We're going to use this to attach our call out to it. So with the playhead over the top of the footage, we jump into Fusion, and that will automatically bring that footage in on Media in 1 there. Cool, okay, let's get started then. So we'll grab a couple of text nodes and a merge, and then another merge. We'll just pop that in between Media in and out, and then we'll hook these up like so. And then we can see what we're doing. So text 1, we're going to have Fuji X106. I'm going to use a typeface called Milka for this. Obviously you can use whatever you want. Pop that over there. Cool, that's looking good. For text 2, guaranteed to make all your pictures look amazing. Just change the justification so it's aligned to the right there. We're going to take the size right down. I'm going to use a nice serif font to contrast against the sans serif Fuji one here. I'm going to make that italic as well. There we go, that looks about right to me. Okay, so next up we're going to make the rectangle to go around this. So if we grab a rectangle here and a background, pipe the rectangle into the background, and then we'll just chuck another merge in here, pop that in there. Cool. With the background selected, we're going to take the alpha right down to around 0.32. That's good. Select the rectangle, and then let's move that into position and just adjust the width and the height to taste. That's looking good. Cool. Now, slight problem here in that this rectangle is currently over the top of the text, which is making it look a bit more grey than it ought to. So, easy way to correct that. If you highlight merge 3 here and press Command and T, that'll just switch the inputs. So now the text is all coming in on the foreground and the rectangle is on the background of this merge. So let's pop another merge in there. Then what we're going to do is grab a polygon and another background. Polygon into the background, and that goes into the merge there. I'm going to change the background to white on this one. Now if we select the polygon, then what we want to do is just click on the top right hand corner of this rectangle here and the bottom right hand corner, and then we want to click basically wherever we want the call out arm to end. So in this case it's just going to be the side of the camera here. If we go into the inspector and we uncheck solid and just change the border width to 0.002, and that will give us a nice white line here. Okay, we're just going to add a couple of extra details and then we'll get on to tracking this. So with this merge 2 highlighted, we'll chuck another merge in there. Then we're going to grab an ellipse and a background, pop those in as well, like that. Change the background to white, come into the ellipse. For this one we're going to take the solid off. Border width again will be 0.002, and then we'll bring the width and the height right down. That's made a nice little dot there, which we're just going to place at the end of the line there. Then what we'll do is we'll grab these and copy and paste them, add another merge, pop those in there, and just adjust the size. And so this one is going to be 0.02, and that's going to make this nice little circle. Now what we're going to do is we're going to track the end of this polygon line, just this very end point here, and we're going to track it to the side of the camera. So what we want to do is go into the polygon again, and then if we select the very end of that line and right click, then go down to polygon 1 polyline and go to publish points. You see it just made these coordinates appear here. These are the exact coordinates for the end of that line. So then what we can do then is if we right click on where it says 0.0 there, and we go to modify with tracker position. Now don't worry about all these turning red, we'll fix that just in one sec. So come up to modifiers here, and all we need to do is we need to put a tracker source in here. Now in this case what we're tracking is the footage in the background, so that's basically media in 1, this over here. So you can either write that in yourself, or you can just grab the node and chuck it in there and it'll fill that in for you, which is quite a handy little trick. So let's just click the backwards and forwards track button here, and now that's going to work its way through forwards and then backwards from this point where we started and track this point. Okay, so that's done that. Now what we want to do is we also want to have the circle and this little dot track with exactly the same point basically. So that's actually really easy to do. What we'll do is we go on this ellipse first, and if we just right click on the center XY coordinates, just right click on where it says center and then go connect to track 1 tracker position. Then do exactly the same with the other one. So right click, connect to track 1 tracker position. Now they're tracked to exactly the same point. So I just want to add one extra little detail in here. We highlight the background there and just grab a drop shadow, pop that in there, and let's adjust the controls here. Take the blur right down and the distance, bring it back in like this, and then we're just going to change the colour. I'm going to change it to this blue colour like that. Okay, we're ready to move on to the animation now, the final step, just to bring this whole thing alive. So what we want to do is we want to have this box and this line animate on in a nice fluid way, and then I'm also going to have this circle expand and contract at the end as well. So really easy way to do that is what we're going to do is grab a rectangle and pop it into this merge 2 here like that. And then what that is essentially doing is that's now a mask for everything that's coming in on the foreground of merge 2. So all the text, the rectangle, the polygon, all of that stuff. So you can see if I select that rectangle, it's masking out all that stuff. So let's just place that here, just right at the bottom of that line. Okay, let's go to frame 70 here. Just going to add a keyframe to the center XY value. Then we come back to frame 60 and we just bring that diagonally up like this, right up to the edge of the box there. And then we go back to frame 50 and we bring the box straight up like that. And now that's going to animate on like this. It's quite nice. And then what we want to do as well is after frame 70, it's masking out this little area here. So to avoid that, just come back to here, frame 72, pop a keyframe on the width and the height, move 1 frame forwards, and then we just expand those so that that mask just stays right out of the way for us, like that. And now that's no longer going to get in the way. Cool. Okay, time to just add a little bit more animation to this circle here. So the circle is this second one here, and if we come to frame 68, just put a keyframe on the level, and also do that for this ellipse 1 as well, the first one. Go back 1 and just drop the level on those down to 0. So then we'll get a nice animate on just as this line hits the area where they are. And we're going to come forwards 2 frames to frame 69, make sure the second ellipse for the circle is selected, then pop a keyframe on the width and the height for that, and then go 3 frames forwards, change the width and the height to 0.04, like that, then forwards another 6 frames, and we'll change that back to 0.02 like that, and that's it. That's our animation done. So then if we jump into the edit page and we can have a look how that looks.